Smoke fills the sky as another fire rages in East St. Louis. The fuel for the blaze is the dry, rotted wood of abandoned houses, the kindling of countless urban infernos. A dozen families live within a block of the fire that threatens to get out of control.
Are you trying to make contact?
As firefighters put out the flames, we hear the sirens of police racing to an unrelated emergency.
Who owns those houses?
I don't know.
During the last few years alone, hundreds of vacant houses have burned in East St. Louis, and many of them still stand as charred shells, waiting to be torched again.
To me, it's sickening.
Ceron and Associates has been one of the biggest property owners of rundown housing in East St. Louis for more than 50 years. The family-owned Slum real estate empire owns about 500 houses and vacant lots. Many of them look abandoned, but a News 4 investigation found that within the last year, the city of East St. Louis had only cited 13 of their properties for code violations.
I was desperate because I didn't have anywhere to live.
Mahogany Burns bought this house from one of the Ceron's companies. She wasn't required to have any credit, only a relatively small amount of cash up front. She bought it for nearly $30,000, about 6 times what the Ceron's company paid for it. What's it been like doing business with Mr. Ceron?
It's been like hell.
The kitchen needs major repairs. A bedroom is missing a large part of the ceiling, and the roof appears rotted.
It looks like it's wet. It looks like it's gonna fall in.
The basement smells of old sewage and mold. The sheetrock is coated with what appears to be mold, and exposure to it could create health problems for her.
That's why I keep the door shut and I don't come down here.
Ms. Burns pays $400 a month, plus the property taxes, utilities, and is responsible for all repairs. The one-year agreement has a final payment of $25,935, and it's due in 7 months. Do you think you'll ever pay off this house?
No. They know I won't.
The county assessor has appraised Ms. Burns' house for $61,000. That's 12 times more than what Ceron paid for it. Since Ms. Burns pays the property taxes, the seemingly unfair appraisal costs her even more money. Any improvements she makes to the home will also benefit the Cerons, since it's unlikely she'll come up with the cash needed to pay off the loan, and the Cerons will remain the owners. Ms. Burns works 6 days a week just to come up with the money needed to pay for this house. What is it like to work that hard for something and then find out that it's not what you thought that it was?
It's really hard. You know, it's disappointing because he prey on the low income.
If you're not embarrassed by the way that you're operating these properties down here, why don't you just come out and talk with us about it? Over the summer, we made repeated attempts to interview company founder Ed Ceron and his son John, but they refused.
I need to talk to my son.
Actually, we need to talk to you. 4 years ago, we caught up with Ed at a charity golf tournament. Can you talk to us about how you conduct business?
Very effectively.
You got to know that these folks aren't going to pay that off.
Okay.
Seriously, don't you know,
okay.
You know that?
Okay, yes.
They are the housing market, and they've driven the rest of the market into the ground. I think it's, at this point, it's hard to imagine a way out of what Ceron has created.
The Cerons cornered much of the East St. Louis area market by supporting key politicians like longtime Allerton Mayor Callie Mobley.
Mr. Ceron is my friend. He's a nice man.
Mobley admits she never cited any of the Cerons' properties for code violations during her nearly 20 years in office, despite getting many complaints. The former mayor, a notorious slumlord in her own right, had a strong incentive to take it easy on the Cerons. According to records filed 7 years ago in the Mobley's bankruptcy case, they owed Ceron and Associates $217,000 for property they purchased from the land baron. Most of the Mobley's net income was used to pay off that debt. Has that been good for the area? That it's so much under his control?
I think it's been, you know, when you look at a small area like this, I think it's been good.